Hello YouTube, Adam here. So today we will learn about database in Supbot API. In this video you will learn what is database, why should we use database of Supbot API, and how can we use it. Then we will create pin feature inside WhatsApp by which you can pin messages and then show the pin messages when needed. Then I will give couple of small exercises that you can do on your own. We will be making a pin feature inside WhatsApp. It will contain 3 commands: pin, show pins, delete pin. Pin will save any message we give it. Show pins will show all the saved pins. And delete pin will delete the pins you saved. What is database? In simple terms, database is a way by which we can store, access, manage and update data easily. Supbot API uses SQLite database, which is connected and executed using jdbc. Learning SQLite commands is not in the scope of this tutorial, so if you don't know it yet, I recommend watching a tutorial on it first. I'll link it in the description below, or you can click the I button on the top right corner. Now you must be thinking, if I could use jdbc and SQLite, why shouldn't I use it myself instead of using Supbot? Well, you can, and it will work perfectly. But Supbot gives you some advantages which will make your code a bit easier and cleaner. All the low-level code for connection and version control are hidden behind the API, so you won't have to worry about it. To use the database, first create a class and extend it with database. Then create a constructor. Then we will have to add the database in the bot by writing bot.getDatabaseManager.add method and add things in bot method in main class. That's it. That's how you make database in Supbot API. But we will have to add few things in the database class before we use it. In the constructor, pass the version of the database and the name of the database. If the database is new, its version will be 1. Add version changer method helps us to call specific query according to which version it currently is. So if the current version is 2 and you tell it to use version 3, it will use the add version changer with version 3 to update the database. Up to method will upgrade the database to the specified version. Down from method will downgrade from the specified version to the previous one. Then we make the static methods to perform database query. We will see this part in detail when we actually make it for that pin feature. That's how you make the database in Supbot API. Now let's see it in action. I have already created the pin feature and its commands, which just returns a static string. If you don't know how to do that yet, I recommend you watch the episode 2, commands and feature first. So this is the pin feature. In it, I have added 3 commands. This is the pin command. This takes one parameter which will be the message to be pinned, and I kept its minimum role on elder, as I don't want any random members to pin messages. This is the show pins command. This takes no parameter and the minimum role is member, as anyone should be able to see the pinned messages. And this is the delete pin command. It takes one parameter which will be the ID of the pin, and I want to make its minimum role a bit special. Basically, I want to allow elders to delete their own pins, but I want to allow the co-admins to delete any pins in the group. So for now, I have kept the minimum role to elder. But we will build the system I just explained in compute method. So let's start coding. As we discussed earlier, first we create a new class for the database and we will extend it with database. As it is a new database, its version will be 1 and we will name it pin. Now to upgrade the database from version 0 to 1, we will call addVersionChanger method. Now we create the pin table in the database. The pin table will have 3 columns. First will be the name of the author, which will be a varchar. Second will be the group ID in which the message is pinned, which will be a varchar. And third will be the message of the pin, which will be a text. When downgrading from 1 to 0, we simply drop the table we made. To encapsulate the data of the pin, let's create a pin class. It will have 3 attributes. First will be the pin ID of the pin, which actually will be the row ID in the database. Second will be the author client, and third will be the message text. Now let's create its constructor and getter methods by pressing Alt Insert. Now let's create the function that communicates with the database. First we will create the function to create a pin. Instead of connecting the database manually, we can use the inbuilt connect method to create a database connection, which will be then used to create statements. Again, if you don't understand what is going on here, I would really recommend you to check out the jdbc tutorials that I have linked in the description. Now we create a function to get all the pins of a group. So first we run a query to get all the rows with the group ID of the chat group. Then we loop through all the rows and create a pin object. Then we create a list for the pins and add the pin object to it. And then we return the pin list as an array. Now we create a method to delete a pin from the database using its row ID. Let's return true if it executes without exception, and return false if it doesn't. This will help us to create proper responses when we code the commands. And let's do the same for create pin function. Now let's add the database to the bot. In the compute method of the pin command, we will call the create pin method, and we will return a successful message when it returns true and an error message when it returns false. Now, when we run the bot, it will show us in the console that the database has been updated. Ooh, the command is not added. Let's just add it. Now let's try it again. Oh, I'm currently a member, and as you remember, only elders can use this command. So let's promote me using this command. Run group name promote client name. And the message has been pinned. Let's check it out using DB browser for SQLite. If you don't have this program, I'll link it in the description. As you can see, our pinned message is in the database. Let's code the show pin command now. First, we create the format in which the pinned message will be displayed. In the compute method, we get the array of pinned messages. And then we loop through the pins and create send message action and add it to the action manager. The action will get added to the action queue, which will be performed when the previous action in the queue completes. Then we just return a message showing all the pins. Now let's test the command. Oh, I guess we have to use getRow instead of getIntroID. And the showPin command works as expected. Next comes deletePin command. So we simply call deletePin with id function to delete the pin and return a response. But as I explained before, I want to make its minimum role a bit special. I want to allow elders to delete only their own pins. So to check if the author is the same person deleting the pin, we will have to get the pin object first. For that, let's make a new function in the pin database that returns a pin object using pin ID. will have to get the pin ID as int from the argument. For that, we will have to pass the string to convert it into an int. After we get the ID, we can get the pin object. Now if the client who is using the delete pin command is elder, we can check if he is the author of the pin too. If he is not, we will return a response saying you cannot delete this pin. Let's test it now. And the command works as expected. But now the show pins command is just showing all the pins even though there are no pins to show. Let's fix this. To fix this, we will just check if there are any pins to show. If there are not, we will return a response saying no pins have been pinned yet. Let's test it. And this works too. Wonderful. Pin feature has been made. Now that you know how to use database in Supbot API, I'll give you two simple exercises. First, in delete pin command, I have made it so that the co-admin or admin of any group can delete pin of any other group. Try to fix it. Second, add database to tell us your command that you made in the exercise of the last episode. And also make a way for the admins to add new jokes using a command. You can download the source of this tutorial from the description, which you can use to do the exercise, if you don't want to rewrite all the code in this video. If you are unable to do the exercise, you can ping me on Discord or just comment below, I'll try to help you out. You can even get the solution source from the description. So this is it for this video. In the next one, we will see how to use scheduler and schedule tasks in Supbot API. And then we will use it to send good morning message every morning. And don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss the upcoming tutorials. And press the bell icon if you want to get notified as soon as the next video is out. I will see you people later.